This is the Borla S-Type single exhaust system with the chrome tip, fitting 2019 to 2024 6.4 liter Ram 2500s. A solid increase in volume over the factory system, along with an extremely nice 304 grade stainless build. Now this kit will deliver that single side exit configuration with unique chrome tip here, exiting in that factory location behind the passenger side rear tire. And of course it will include things like the mandrel bent 3.5-inch tubing, and all backed by a lifetime warranty for around that $1,100 price point. Now getting started with our sound and features here with the S-Type, and well, the sound is a good one, guys, at least in my opinion. Now the Stinger, as it used to be known as, or the S-Type as it's currently known as, is going to deliver a good amount of volume, but at the same time, it's not crazy, it's not over the top, and maybe my favorite part is it maintains a nice deep tone, especially out of the 6.4 liter Hemi. So breaking out my tried and true Wake the Neighbor scale, I have the S-Type coming in at a soft 4 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Regardless, it is a massive improvement over the factory exhaust in every single way, still very aggressive, but again, it's not going to totally make your neighbors hate you. Now, if you wanted to make them hate you and you hate their neighbors, well then, you might want to check out Borla's Attack system instead. That is going to be a bit louder than this, and it is the loudest out of the Borla lineup. But again, the S-Type I think lives somewhere right in the middle there between the Attack on the aggressive side and the Touring on more the mild side. Now going on the inside of the truck, guys, this is another good one, right? Because you are getting a solid amount of bark on the exterior, no denying that, but on the inside, things remain whisper quiet. And that is a testament to the Borla quality. So for all of these reasons, guys, whether it's the sound quality, the sound volume, the quiet in-cab experience, this is a perennial favorite of mine and an easy recommendation for truck owners everywhere. But moving away from the sound, let's get into construction, and this is another reason why owners might want to consider the S-Type because of the quality of build and materials. Now in this case, you are looking at that T304 grade stainless steel throughout for things like the massive 3.5-inch mandrel bent tubing. Of course, you do have this large S-Type muffler here, free-flowing of course, and the muffler, as you might know, responsible for shaping that muscular S-Type tone. Finally, guys, everything is going to exit out of this equally large 5-inch traditionally chrome tip here in that factory location, again right behind that passenger side rear tire. Now if you didn't know, T304 grade stainless is the best material you will encounter here on the site in the world of exhaust. It's going to be the best at reducing or preventing corrosion, and ultimately, guys, Borla stands behind their products with their 1,000,000-mile warranty, so definitely shouldn't have to worry about any issues whatsoever with this system installed. Now, all of that quality does eventually come at a cost, as the Borla stuff is going to be more on the premium side of the pricing spectrum here on the site. Case in point, the S-Type is going to land around $1,100, give or take a bit. But at the same time, guys, I'm a big fan of the old adage, you get what you pay for, and that certainly holds up here with the Borla S-Type. All right, last but not least, let's talk about the install here, guys. And the site's going to call this a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you at least 45 minutes to get in place from start to finish if you're really hustling. If it takes you a little bit longer, don't sweat it. But now to give you a better idea of how this goes down in the garage or driveway, let's throw it out to our shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, a 15mm socket, hanger removal tool, a dead blow hammer, some lubricant, a pry bar, and also not shown here is a pole jack and a jack and jack stands. What's up, folks? Today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, so to get started, we have the truck in the air, and we're going to need to remove our factory exhaust system first. Now we're removing from the factory resonator back, and it's held on by a few hangers and some slip joint clamps. So we're going to loosen up those clamps to give us a little bit more wiggle room. We're going to pull our tail section first, and then move on to our resonated section. So we've got a 15mm socket on our impact to loosen up this clamp. Now, one thing to take note of is a lot of times these new trucks, especially the Rams, have a coating on all the hardware to prevent rust and corrosion. You might need to scrape some of that off to get the proper size socket on, which again is a 15mm. We've got that loose. We'll go back and get our hanger out of the isolator. So now we're gonna get after our hanger that's in our factory isolator back here at the OEM muffler. Now, you do not have a lot of room to get in here. You're gonna have to kind of fish your hanger tool between your muffler and the spare tire and get that on. As you can see, it is very tight. If you're having too much trouble with that, we'll grab a pry bar and try to work this loose that way. Now we've got a pry bar in here. This is a little bit easier to at least get this moving. Work this all the way to the end. You want to try not to damage this isolator while you're doing this, but again, this is pretty tight quarters. Now we're going to work our tail section and muffler out. It should be freed up a good bit. You want to try to work this as best you can by hand, if possible. But if it doesn't want to come, bring back that pry bar. Bring this out. Now, new from factory, these are going to be pretty tough to get off, so you're just going to have to work this very carefully. And once you've got it to the point where it's coming off of the resonator, pull that off and fish that out. Now that we have our tail section off, we're going to work on our factory resonator. Now we've got a pole jack under the back end of the resonator to help support it, and we've got to loosen this clamp as well. Again, this one's held on by a clamp with a 15 mil nut. We've got our 15 mil socket on a ratchet this time. You can't really get an impact in here. Now again, these are pretty well coated from the factory to prevent corrosion. You're gonna have to fight with that a little. Get that nice and loose. There's also corrosion on the thread, so you want to be careful of that. Make sure it comes out with the nut. Got that loose. Next, we're going to remove the two isolators at the rear of the resonator. So we've got our hanger removal tool. It may be easier to get them off from the top side, from the chassis side, rather than the exhaust side. Pop these off. Work that. Now this side also has a ground that you'll need to pop off of the hanger. It just comes right off like so. Work this one off. Now we can get our forward isolator off of our hangers. This one you may have to work from the top as well. Really tight quarters. Now we're going to work our resonator off, and we have sprayed some penetrating lubricant at the slip joint. It's going to make things a little bit easier, especially if this has never been off before. Just want to work this. You may have to lower your pole jack. Now if this thing is being really stubborn, you can take a dead blow mallet. We're going to smack the front of our resonator and get this persuaded to move. Once you get close to having this off, you definitely want to be careful. This is heavy. And we can bring that down and out. Alrighty guys, so now we're ready to start installing our new setup. Now we're going to start with our new resonator slash muffler. And what we're gonna do first is put our clamp onto our factory mid-pipe. That way we don't forget it. You wanna make sure the nut for it is gonna be in an accessible location. Make things easy on yourself. So we've got that on. We're gonna slip our muffler slash resonator onto our mid-pipe, and then we'll install the isolators that we removed from the factory exhaust back in place. And we'll fish this into position. We've still got our pole jack that's gonna greatly assist us in this. We'll get that set up onto the pole jack. Raise this up a little bit. Get this lined up. Get this fully seated. Now remember, there is a dowel at the top of your factory mid-pipe. You want to line that up like so. It's going to keep everything in position. Let's slide our clamp over here. Now we're not going to tighten this down fully just yet. Set that up. We'll install our isolators and make sure this is sitting right, and we're just going to snug this clamp down for now. Now we're going to bring back those factory isolators. Slide that into position. Get those on. We've got this one. We'll also reinstall our two in the rear of our muffler resonator as well. We'll get our other isolators in position. Now we did add some lubricant to these. It's definitely helpful to aid in getting them back in position. Next we'll get our other isolator on. Pole jack to raise this into position. And once you have this one back on, you want to remember to install that ground strap, put that in place. Next we can install our muffler outlet slash overaxle pipe. So we're going to grab another one of our slip joint clamps, slide that over, get this up over the axle, get this lined up with our muffler outlet, put that into place. At this point you may have to drop your pole jack back down. It is supported now. And make sure this gets fully seated. And again, we'll have that clamp in position, but not tightened down just yet. So now we can get our tail section on. First, we're going to install that factory isolator onto our new tail section. Get that onto the hanger. Now you want to go as far back as possible with this because the chassis side of the factory hanger portion faces the opposite direction. So we just want to get that on there for now. Now we can begin installing our tail section. The first thing we're going to do is install that factory isolator onto our new hanger. And we'll just push that down kind of in this area because the hangers on the chassis side face the opposite direction, so we want to be able to come back and put those on the chassis side. We're also going to install our clamp. Again, you want to make sure it is in an accessible location. Put that on. We're going to get this up and onto our overaxle. Get this in position. This may be the tricky part. Get this to slide on. Once we get that started, reach up, get our isolator in position. I know it's kind of tough to see from here. Then we get our isolator lined up. You want to make sure you do this kind of first. Now we've got our isolator into position on both of our hangers up top. Make sure our seat's fully. Now first you want to make sure you have your exhaust adjusted to where it's not hitting anything and your tip comes out where you like it. and we can tighten up all of our clamps. So we're going to start with the one for our tail section. Then we're going to use a 15 mil socket, impact. You want these to come to the very end of the slip joint. Now we can tighten down our over axle to muffler outlet. And lastly, we'll tighten down our muffler inlet to our factory mid pipe. Alrighty folks, that wraps up our review and install of our Borla S-Type single exhaust system with chrome tip and side exit for your 19 to 24 6.4 liter Ram 2500. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.